Welcome to GwinnettDailyPost.com. Todd Klein and Will Hammock here talking baseball. Will, and this week we're talking about the state baseball playoffs are getting underway. Start off in Class 5A, a lot of Gwinnett teams in the mix there. Is there one team that you look that might be a surprise team in the playoffs?
For me, it's kind of been the surprise team all year. It's the Duluth Wildcats. I know they've been building towards this season, but I guess it's hard to call them a surprise team when they're a number 2 seed out of Region 7, one of the state's toughest regions. But they're a surprise in that they hadn't been in the playoffs for a long time. Probably the mid-'90s with Nick Green was the last time they went to the state baseball playoffs. But they're back. They have a very good team, a very deep team. Don't really hit the ball as well as some teams, but their pitching staff is maybe the deepest in the county. John Clark's having a great season. They really pitch the ball well. I think Matt Champito is kind of the consensus coach of the year in Gwinnett County. So in a 3-game series, Duluth's pitching is so strong, I don't think you want to be messing with those guys in the playoffs.
As we talk about Duluth maybe being the surprise team, there's some old standbys. As you look at teams that maybe have the best chance in Class 5A to make the deepest run for Gwinnett, who would those be?
I think Brookwood and Parkview always have to be in the mix. Both those teams are deep and can really hit the ball. They've been there before. You have to rely on that tradition and history. A lot of those kids are expecting to be deep in the playoffs. But for me, I think the top team is probably the Mill Creek Hawks, playing out of Region 7, a very tough region. They really emerged as the top team in that region. They have a guy, Jared Curry, that teams are going to have to pitch around. But all in all, just have a very deep lineup, and you pair that with what's a pretty solid pitching staff. That's a good mix, and I think Mill Creek's probably the team that's going to go the deepest in 5A.
Then moving on to the smaller classifications, Will, where Gwinnett is very talented there as well. Out of those smaller classification schools, who do you think maybe the championship contenders are?
I think there's a lot of teams down in Class AA and A that are really going to be exceptional playoff teams, make deep runs. They start off in AA with Buford Wolves. They've kind of quietly rolled through AA, rolled to the region title, and I look for that to continue in the playoffs. A very deep team, got a lot of talent up there. And into the Class A level, I think there's any one of 3 teams, depending on who gets hot at the right time. You got Wesleyan, which is always there. Providence is always making deep runs, and I think Hebron's looking at as strong as they've ever been, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Hebron making a run. So any of those 3 teams could go deep in the playoffs.
Well, that's all the time we have for this week. Please check back next week at GwinnettDailyPost.com for more Talkin' Sports.